Augustine right now, back into downtown St. Augustine. And it's going to take me about an hour and 30 minutes to make an 8.5-mile loop around the city. I am going to stop this train at 24 designated stops along the way. So if you're sitting back there and you're wearing a blue sticker with a red train, well, that means you're allowed to exit our train at any of those 24 stops. You bought one of the all-day passes, a 3-day pass or more. And what'll happen is you can exit, you can do some shopping, maybe get a bite to eat, maybe do the Ripley's Museum or any of the other museums like my friends up front here. And then another train will come by for you about every 20 minutes or so. They'll pick you up and continue your journey around the city. But keep in mind, if you exit the train, you want to make sure you're back on a train by about 4:15 this afternoon. Our last train leaves where I just left a few minutes after that, and it goes one last trip around. If you miss that one, you might get stuck somewhere. I don't want that happening to anybody. So keep that in mind. If you are going to jump on and off, that you want to make sure you're back on by about 4:15. Now, if you have a solid color sticker on, you're going to stay with me until you get back to where you started, and then you'll be able to jump off and then explore on your own. Alright, my friends, let's begin our journey. As we're going south, we are going back in time. Right now I'm going back about 500 years to the time of Easter Sunday, 1513, when the young Spaniard by the name of Juan Ponce de Leon came ashore and declared the land for Spain. He called it La Florida, or the land of flowers, because that was all he found. If you look out to your left, you'll notice a very large cross way out there in the distance. Now I will come back to that cross later, but I want to talk about it as we go by. That cross right there marks the spot where another young Spaniard would come ashore about 50 years after Ponce. His name, Don Pedro Menendez of Ávila, Spain. Now some of you back there might be saying, hold on a second, Smokey. Why does another young Spaniard come ashore after Ponce was already here? Well guys, I like to answer that question with what I call a Smokey Extra. Now what's a Smokey Extra? Well, my name is Smokey. The extra's extra research that I do to find out some unique facts that you'll hear on my tour today. And since I looked them up, I call them Smokey Extras. So why does Don Pedro Menendez come ashore after Ponce de Leon was already here? So when I look it up, I find out it's all because of a Frenchman by the name of Jean Ribolt. That's right, folks. Between the time of Ponce and Pedro, Jean Ribolt comes ashore just a little bit north of St. Augustine. Now, north of us is a place called Jacksonville. Some of you may have heard of it. In Jacksonville, there's a little area today, it's called Fort Caroline. And this is where the Frenchman starts to set up an establishment. Now, when the King of Spain hears about that establishment, he panics. He's worried about losing his trade waters to the French. So, he calls on Don Pedro Menendez, often referred to as the Butcher of Ávila. Now, I'm going to get back to that story in a second, but my friends in the front know, but if everybody else might not have heard me, I am going to go past Ripley's right now, but do not panic. I just got to go around the block to make my stop at the Visitor Center first. Ripley's will be second. I should be back there in about 4 minutes, maybe 5, depending on traffic. So let's get back to my story about Don Pedro Menendez. He gets together a very large crew, about 1,500, and a priest by the name of Father Francisco Lopez Grajales. Now he set sail for the coast of what was then called La Florida. He came ashore right where that large cross stands back there today. The date, September the 8th. The year, 1565. Now when he comes ashore, folks, he not only rids the land of the French, he also rids the land of anybody who does not convert to Catholicism or pledge allegiance to the king. And then he sets up his own establishment. Believe it or not, our little city here of St. Augustine has been continuously occupied ever since the very day Don Pedro Menendez came ashore, September the 8th, 1565. And that does two very important things for us. One, it makes us the oldest continuously occupied European settlement in North America. But two, it's also how we got our nickname, the nation's oldest city. That's right, folks, in case you were wondering, wonder no further, because I just told you. And that's going to be my goal out here today. I'm hoping to share with you lots of things about St. Augustine. Hopefully things you do not already know, like this on your right. It's called a redoubt. A redoubt is a military structure made out of palm logs and earth. Back in the 1800s, St. Augustine was a walled-in city. When we were walled in, we had 9 of those going around our city. This right here is a replica of what's called the Santo Domingo redoubt. Or maybe you didn't know that this brick building on our left used to be our K-12 school. Do you know that every single student in the city of St. Johns County went to school in that one building on your left? Well now, my friends, that building houses the St. Johns County School District main office. All the schools around county are running that building on your left. And as we make our way around the bend, if you're a kid or a kid at heart, check out this Smokey Extra coming up on your left. It's called Swing Park. Now everybody in St. Augustine might know it's called Swing Park, but they don't know why. I do, because I looked it up. Found out that the word swing stands for St. Augustine's wish for its next generation. I also found out that park right there was built by 5,000 volunteers in the course of just 1 week back in the 1990s. inside that park, I found over 23,000 square feet of fun, a shade structure, and only one way in and out of the park, over by the tennis courts. If you're saying, Smokey, that's a pretty big park. Why is there only one way in and out? Well, my wife and I think it's for safety. We have two little girls that love to play inside that park. They can run around all they want, but they can never exit without passing myself or my wife to get to the exit. If you guys want to go to the park, or if you want to go to Barnacle Bill's seafood restaurant on your left, you're going to want to exit at my first stop on the right, called the Visitor Information Center, often referred to as the VIC. And believe it or not, folks, I got a couple of Smokey extras to tell you about the difference between the Visitor Center and the large parking lot that are on your right, which are not so obvious to the eye. But I do want to let you know that if you're going to be leaving me here at this next stop, I'm going to ask that you do one, wait till I get to a complete stop before you exit. Two, if you are going to exit, that you exit carefully to the left side of my train after I tell you that it's safe to do so. As we make our way into the Visitor Information Center, it's not really an attraction. It's a place where we have one of our ticket booths, and you can go inside and buy discounted tickets to most of the major attractions in town. He's telling you to call him, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the Visitor Information Center, the large parking lot, the shortcut to Barnacle Bill's, and Swing Park are all here. If you're waiting for the red train, this is it. If you're waiting for the Old Town Trolley, that's the green and orange one. It's now safe to exit or enter. Good afternoon, all my friends are climbing aboard here. Welcome, welcome. My name is Smokey. Nice to meet everybody. And my friends that are back there with the hats on, be careful with the wind out here today. Sometimes it might blow those hats off your head. I'd hate for you to lose your favorite hat today. As we make our way out of the Visitor Center, here we go. So I was about to talk about the Visitor Information Center and the large parking lot. How are they different, folks? Well, guess what? I look up the Visitor Center and find out it is listed as the most recent structure built here in St Augustine. Then I look up the parking lot and it says it is the last structure built here in St Augustine. So what's the difference? Well, believe it or not, it's how they were made. Folks, the Visitor Center is the most recent structure built out of coquina stone. The parking lot is the last structure made out of poured concrete. You see, folks, coquina is such a unique shell stone that when I looked it up, I found out it was only quarried in 3 places around the world. One was Puerto Rico, 2 was Cuba, and the 3rd one was Anastasia Island. Now, how many people on my train back there have ever heard of coquina stone? Anybody? Yeah, a couple people. It comes out of the ground, it's kind of soft, it's like Play-Doh, it's very soft and pliable, you can punch it, you can shape it. Well, that building on your right was made out of coquina stone back in the 1930s. It was originally built as a dance ballroom. That's right, people would dance the night away inside that building. Well, if you did that today, they'd probably look at you kind of funny, because today it's a visitor center. Inside, you'll find a couple of our ticket booths, like I said. You'll also find a calendar of events. You'll be able to find out things that are happening in and around St. Johns County. So let's talk about another unique building on our trip right in front of us. Ripley's, believe it or not. Now, what makes Ripley's a unique building? Well, for one, I found out it wasn't built as a Ripley. It was built originally as a private residence by an oil tycoon named William Warden. Folks, Mr. Warden, who came to St. Augustine on a vacation, falls in love with another building in town that I'll show you later called the Via Zareta. Now, he wants his house to look like the Via Zareta, but bigger. So he builds this castle-looking structure in front of us and often refers to it as Warden's Castle. Mr. Warden would live inside that building for many years, and then he sells it to a woman named Marjorie Kidden Rawlings. Now, some of you might know that name. She was the Pulitzer Prize-winning author that wrote The Yearling and Cross Creek. Well, she turns the building into a hotel that the Ripleys stay at. They fall in love with it. They want to buy it, and she says no. So they decide they were going to wait and wait. And then she passes away. They contact her husband, Norton Baskin. Mr. Baskin sells it to the Ripleys, and they turn it into one of 30 museums around the world. Guys, this is the subject of a few more of my Smokey Extras, and if you're joining me late, Smokey Extras, unique fun facts you're going to hear on my train. Well, guess what? I found out this Ripley's right here is the first ever permanent Ripley's, believe it or not. Before that, it was a traveling show, moving from city to city, state to state. I also found out it's the only Ripley's that Mr. Ripley ever stepped foot inside of. But he wasn't the owner at the time, he was merely a guest. And I also found out that this is the original museum that they used in the 1980s television show, Ripley's, believe it or not, starring Mr. Jack Palance. Now inside this Ripley's, like most of our Ripley's, you're going to find a huge collection of oddities. This one here has over 800 oddities, all collected by Mr. Ripley himself. Things like Miracle Mike, the Headless Chicken, the largest pair of Converse sneakers, posters made out of jelly beans, and we recently acquired the Marilyn Monroe dress that she wore as she sang to President Kennedy in Madison Square Garden. started only here until the end of March. Then it's going to go to another Ripley's. And folks, look out to your right for this Smokey Extra, that horse. Did you know I looked up that horse and found out he is made completely, get this, out of car bumpers. You heard me right, my friends. I just said car bumpers. And if you were to try to make a horse like that today, I bet you look a whole lot different. My friends, if you're going to be leaving here for Ripley's, I'm going to ask that you wait till I get to a complete stop and then exit carefully to the right side of my train as we stop at the auditorium of Strange But True, Ripley's. Believe it. Or not. It's up to you. All right, our stop, where it is now safe if you'd like to exit or enter. Bye, ladies. Have a good time in there, and maybe I'll catch up with you later. You're welcome. Hey, guys. Do you have your tickets ready? Not if you have your tickets. I'll just look at them because I don't want you to miss the train waiting for that. So, yeah, perfect. The 11th, so for 3 days past, you're all set. Perfect. You're very welcome, guys. Anywhere you like back there, as long as no one's sitting there. She's like, I want the front row. My name is Smokey. It's nice to see you guys as we head out. All aboard. Now, some of you guys might be looking out to your left at this large log here, and you might be saying, well, I see that the sign says there's a 4-room house inside, which it does say. But what it doesn't say is that I looked it up for a few of my Smokey Extras and found out all 4 rooms were carved by one man with just one knife. And off to your right, behind the bushes, called Portocarpus, check out the Statue of David, folks. Is that the original Statue of David right here in the parking lot of Ripley's? Of course not, folks. That guy's in Italy. But this guy right here, he's the subject of a few of my extras. Do you know I looked up that statue right there and found out he's an exact replica of the Statue of David in Italy. What does that mean exactly? Well, it means he stands in at 14 feet tall. He weighs in at 10 solid tons. He is carved from one solid piece of Carrara marble. And some of you might say, well, that's great, Smokey, but I can only see his head. Why is he hidden behind the bushes? Some of you may have already figured that out. Folks, I just said he's an exact replica of the Statue of David in Italy, which means that the only thing he's wearing, of course, is the grimace on his face. Which, by the way, when I looked up that statue, do you know I found out the expression you see on his face? Said to be the look he had on his face when he went into battle with Goliath. Not so many people know that. A lot of people also don't know there's a controversy about what he's holding in his right hand. Now, his left hand is up by his shoulder. It's got the sling that hangs over. That's what he used to throw the boulders at Goliath. But the right hand, subject of controversy. Some people claim it's a shepherd's crook because David was a shepherd, okay? But other people argue it's a staff that he connected to the sling to turn it into a weapon from a much earlier time period to defeat Goliath, right? Well, guess what? Will we ever know the true answer? Of course not. Michelangelo's not with us. But let me give you a little food for thought, because I look up several paintings that Michelangelo does prior to the Statue of David, and I find that weapon in those paintings. Now, it might not be the answer, but it definitely gives us a little something to think about, which is why I throw in these Smokey Extras, because, folks, we're going to get a little bit heavy here with our history today, okay? We're talking about a lot of history. With history comes death. I like to keep my tour light and fluffy, so I throw in these Smokey Extras every once in a while to try to keep it light and fun, but every once in a while, I'm going to have to get a little bit heavy, and as we leave Ripley's, this is going to be one of them, okay? Right now, I'm about to make my way back into downtown, okay? As we went in the first time, you might have noticed that I passed by a cemetery. We're going to pass by that cemetery again, the first of 2 cemeteries that we got to talk about on our trip. Now, we're not going to go into real depth about them, but we're going to talk a little bit about them because I got to give you a little bit of history, okay? The first cemetery I'm about to show you is going to be on the right-hand side of our train, just past the Visitor Information Center. And it's called the Huguenot Cemetery, but it's also known as the Public Burying Grounds, okay? Back in the 1800s, St. Augustine, I told you, was a walled-in city. When we were walled in, they thought if you met your demise, if you were non-Catholic, you should not be buried inside that wall, okay? So 1821, yellow fever strikes, decimating a third of the population. Most of the folks that perished were non-Catholic, buried in that cemetery on your right. Now, don't be fooled by that little wall. I'm sure you can hop over it. I advise you not to do that. It is illegal. If you're found inside that cemetery and the gate was not open, you might also find yourself with a hefty $1,500 fine. Now, they do open the gate one day a month so the locals can pay their respects. And guess what? Today, it's not that day. So don't go inside the cemetery today. When it is open is our next stop. It's going to be on your right as I make the left, called our City Gate train station stop. This yellow building, home to a restaurant called Burger Buckets, where you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll stop here for our City Gate train station stop. If this is your destination, you guys can come on over if you want to climb aboard. It's now safe for anybody who might want to exit here or enter. For all my folks that are leaving, have a good day out there, and maybe I'll catch up with you later on. My new friends that are climbing aboard, welcome. My name is Smokey, it's nice to meet you. And my friend with the hat on, be careful. It is a little bit windy out there on this train. Sometimes the hats might fly off. If it does fly off, I'm not allowed to stop to retrieve it, unfortunately. As we head out here, all aboard, Here we go. Oh, hang on.
I'm coming.
I just saw you coming. Anyway, like back there, guys. Hey, Scott. Pretty good, my friend. How are you?
Oh, very good. Oh, I'm sorry. That'd be first.
And for my three friends that jumped on the back, my name is Smokey. Nice to see you guys as we head out here. All right, let's talk about one more cemetery briefly, and then we'll get to light and fluffy. Folks, look out to your front left. You'll notice a parking lot. If you follow that parking lot all the way to the street, you'll see a stone wall with an iron gate on top on the left. That, my friends, is called the Talamado Cemetery. That's where you were buried back in the 1800s, if you met your demise and you were a Catholic. But now, let's get fun. Look to the right of that cemetery. In front of me, you'll notice a white fence. On the very far left side of that corner of that fence, you'll see an oak tree. Look up about 8 feet in that oak tree and check out the palm tree going out of the middle of that oak tree. Guys, that is not normal. That's another Smokey extra. Do you know I find out that those two trees were planted over 100 years ago by a young couple in love to show their true love and commitment to each other. They call it St Augustine's love tree for a reason. They say if you kiss a loved one underneath or near it, like right here might be close enough. You too may have eternal love, so lean over, give somebody a smooch on the love tree. And then join me in singing, come on, people all over the world, join hands, form the love tree. Love tree, come on, people all over the world, join hands, form the love tree. Love tree. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. And my friends on the side for clapping too. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Guys, go and see my friend Lindsay on the left-hand side. Not only does she like to clap, but she also loves to show you Potter's Wax Museum inside the authentic old drugstore, which I found out that drugstore has been slated as the oldest drugstore in the state of Florida. Potter's Wax Museum, very cool. Get a chance to go see the wax figures over there and my friend Lindsay. That would be awesome. On your left-hand side, check out this palm log wall right here. Guys, this represents what used to be the north wall of our city when we were walled in, and it was called the Kubo Line. Now, the Kubo Line would stretch from the fort in front of us all the way back to the San Sebastian River behind us, and the only way through was right here in front of us on the left. These two stone pillars you see right here are the actual pillars that were built back in 1808. Made out of coquina stone, they are still standing today. And if you're looking for the old schoolhouse, you don't have to look too far. Look out to your right as we make our way to North St. George Street. The third building down on the right, the one with the brown building with the chain and anchor on it to keep it from floating away, is the oldest schoolhouse located here at North St. George Street. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your destination, I'm going to ask that you exit carefully to the right side of my train, where it is now safe to exit for me. You guys are leaving? Was it because of my singing? Because I'm going to sing more later. So. Yeah, I know, that's all right. Maybe I'll get some of you guys later. Have a good time out there. All right, we're heading out. Here we go. Now, maybe some of you back there are saying, Smokey, I didn't come to St. Augustine for an old schoolhouse. I came here for a pirate adventure. Army. Because here at St. Augustine, we house the largest collection of rare pirate artifacts anywhere in the world, right here on your right. This yellow building with a red balcony on it. You're gonna find a real pirate treasure chest, the world's oldest wanted posters, a Jolly Roger flag, a sword used by Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, or if you want to head up to the top of that 34-foot lookout tower, that's inside the Colonial Quarter. On your right, ladies and gentlemen, right next to the Notre Dame Bar, a 17th century Spanish fortified town where you can take part in a musket drill, watch as blacksmiths forge steel into utensils, climb to the top of that tower, and more. My friends, our next stop is for both the Colonial Quarter and the Pirates Treasure Museum. There's also a little ice cream shop right here. It's now safe for everybody to exit or enter here at the Colonial Quarter. You guys can climb aboard. Hello, hello. My name is Smokey. Nice to meet you guys. And be careful, my friends, with the baseball cap. So I remember it's kind of windy out here. If it flies off and the people behind you don't catch it and it lands on the street, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to stop. Give you a heads up. Here we go. As we head out. Now, some of you might be looking out to your left and you might be saying, Smokey, you were just talking about Johnny Depp, the Pirates of the Caribbean. Aren't you going to tell us about the history of the fort? Ladies and gentlemen, what kind of tour guide would I be if I didn't talk about the fort? Of course I'm going to talk about the fort. I'm just not going to do it right now. That's right, I like to use that as my teaser. I'll be back there about an hour. If you're still with me then, I'm going to tell you all about it. I want to talk about the waterway on your left because that, my friends, is called the Matanzas Bay. Now, on the other side of that water is an island called Anastasia Island. Very unique island, okay? I look it up for one of my Smokey extras, and I find out that island was one of only 3 places in the world you used to be able to get that shellstone I talked about earlier, coquina. How many people have ever heard of coquina? A couple people, right? Coquina comes out of the ground, it's got a lot of shells in it. It was quarried in 1, Puerto Rico, 2, Cuba, 3, Anastasia Island. That's right, all the coquina that you'll find here in St. Augustine came from the island on our left, and it was all brought over brick by barge. Now that quarry is closed, so we'll talk about coquina throughout the trip. I want to talk about this little side street here, Hippolyta. Hippolyta leads us right into downtown. My friend that was asking me earlier about Hippolyta Street, we're going to be stopping in the middle of it in just a second here. This, my friends, is going to lead us right into the heart of downtown. We're going to find over 240 shops, places like the Backyard at Meehan's, a Tropical Island Cafe. If you're looking for modern fashions, check out October House on your left. Gourmet popsicles at the Hippo on your right. Look at some of the names as we go by. Then you got Wolf's Museum. It's kind of creepy, but kind of fun. Fresh seafood down there at Catch 27 on your right. For those of you looking for a great handsome milkshake, you got to go to Castillo's on your left. These milkshakes are awesome. They also have waffles. Herbal massage and reflexology on your right. These guys will take away your aches, your pains, your insomnia, and more. And then go over to the Casamaya on your right side and enjoy a seafood and tequila bar with great outdoor seating. On your left-hand side, you got the Thai and sushi bar here with also great outdoor seating. And right here in the heart of downtown, ladies and gentlemen, we got Fairmount Outfitters coming up on your left. If you guys are looking for a place to shop and eat, this is going to be the great place to do it here. It's the heart of downtown's shopping and eating district. Our next stop, ladies and gentlemen, will be at the stop sign for the corner of Hippolyta and St. George Street. If this is going to be your destination, I'm going to ask that you leave on either side of the train when I tell you it's safe to do so as we make our way up to our stop. But don't do it yet, because I don't want anybody getting hurt. On the right here, this little peach wall you see is also a little park. Now it is closed. You're not allowed to just go inside of it. It used to be open to the public, and then people started to damage the inside of the park, so they closed it off. This is supposed to be like our little piece of Spain right here on your right. Yes, sir. Yes, we do. Yeah. You're very welcome. It's one of our stops. And the Distillery. Yeah, she's like, and the Distillery. All right, my friends, if you'd like to exit here, I'm going to ask that you do so now on either side of the train. It's now safe to exit or enter. This is where you wanted to be, sir? Very good. Well, this is the place to be for all those shops. And I thank you for your tip. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Nice to meet you guys. Have a wonderful time out there. As we're about to head out here of Hippolyta and St. George, all aboard. Well, my friends, as we cross over the street, I am going to keep ringing the bell, so don't exit here. This is just to let other people know I'm coming across. Now, this is a great pedestrian walkway. As you see, it's loaded with people here. You can spend all day back here shopping and eating and exploring the heart of downtown St. Augustine. There's so many cute little shops back here that people will spend all day back here and not even realize that they're back here. If you'd like to go for some shopping while you're in town, you might want to check out Cottonways on your right. They got lots of resort lifestyle wear inside. Metal Arts is a great little shop here in the front if you like art. I'm a big fan of art of all different types, and Metal Arts has a lot of it inside, eclectic and not so eclectic. We are going to keep shooting west here on this little side street here that a lot of people don't realize is a vehicle pathway here. If you guys jump to that side, big sidewalk, nobody will get hurt. That way we can make sure we get on by everybody and nobody gets hurt here as we make our way west. Now, as we are going west, we are making our way into a time frame that a lot of people here in St. Augustine call the Flagler era. Now, the Flagler era, of course, is named after Henry Morrison Flagler. I'm sure some of you have ever heard of that guy. Well, Mr. Flagler was a very wealthy businessman, partners with a guy named John D. Rockefeller back in the 1800s. And they owned a little oil company back then called Standard Oil. It's better today known as ExxonMobil. Well, Mr. Flagler comes here in 1884 and decides he wants to build a couple of hotels and decides he has to move a few things around, like this church on your left. This church used to be down the block in ruins, and Flagler would move it to make it build his church, to build his hotel down the block. This church right here is called Grace United Methodist Church, made out of poured concrete and terracotta ornamentation. Now, you cannot get inside unless the doors are open or the sign out front says come inside. And unfortunately, they don't have a schedule. So if you do want to make it inside, folks, you have to be able to be here at the right place at the right time. If you see the sign out front that says come on in, make sure you make your way into Grace United Methodist Church. As we continue to shoot west, we are going to pass by yet another church that Mr. Flagler would be involved in building, but this one he actually just gave him the parcel of land to build it here. The church in front of you on the right is known as Ancient City Baptist Church, and they wanted to build a church, but Mr. Flagler couldn't do it at the time. He was already busy building his own church. So he said, I'll give you a parcel of my land that's worth about $5,000 and you can build your church on it, but provided you do three things in return. One, you have to donate at least $10,000 or more of your own money. Two, you have to build it in less than 3 years. And three, you can never ever put a bell in the bell tower. Guys, if you look over up to your right, you might notice that Ancient City Baptist Church has a bell tower, but you might not notice that there is no bell inside. And people say that Mr. Flagler didn't want a bell in that bell tower because he lived right behind this white building on your right hand side. They thought it might interrupt. Other people say that it might have been because he was worried about it interfering with the bell in his own bell tower. Our next stop on your right, known as Flagler Memorial Presbyterian Church. Now the year was 1889. Flagler starts to build this church on your right. Then he becomes a grandpa. His daughter, Jenna Louise, gave birth to a little baby girl named Marjorie. While there were complications, the two young ladies end up eventually passing away. Now Flagler, devastated by the news, wants the church finished in less than 1 year to commemorate the passing of his daughter and granddaughter. Hiring a massive crew, putting them to work night and day, they finished and opened the doors of this church in under 361 days. Inside, you'll find great things like the original mahogany pews, a 5,000 pipe organ that if you're here tomorrow, folks, you can actually enjoy an organ concert for free, all inside Flagler Memorial Presbyterian Church. This will be our stop. If you'd like to exit here, folks, it's now safe to do so to the right. And if you are going to leave me here, remember the trains come by about every 20 minutes. They'll pick you up right here where I stopped here. It's beautiful inside. You guys are leaving. Have a good time out there. We'll see you later on. All aboard. Here we go. Now, I know we were just talking about the mausoleum, so let's back it up right now to 1885 to 1887. Flagler does return to St. Augustine as he vows to build his very first hotel on your right, the beautiful Ponce de Leon Hotel, which is now home to Flagler College. Now, of course, it doesn't take 3 years to build, so Flagler, waiting until the winter of 1888 to open the doors, he figures it's better to open in the winter. That way his friends will come down from up north to get to spend some time in Florida. Well, his friends have no way to get here. Mr. Flagler decides he's going to buy the railway system and bring his friends down here, but he brings them down at night. Why? Because he wants to show off his electricity. That's right, folks. This building on your right had electricity well before the White House. As if we make the turn, if you look back over your shoulder, you'll see a very tall smokestack. That was part of the building that housed the generators that provided that electricity to the hotel. Now, this hotel would have electricity, as I said, several years before the White House. And Mr. Flagler would bring it us for tonight to show off that electricity. Well, he would also want to show off this rotunda on your right. See that rounded part of the building, guys? That houses the largest collection of Tiffany stained glass windows anywhere in the world. That's right, Mr. Flagler, not only friends with guys like Thomas Edison, but also friends with a guy named Louis Comfort Tiffany. So he has the windows built for his grand ballroom, which today turns out to be the dining hall of the college. That's right, guys, if you want to go inside and see those stained glass windows from the inside out, take one of the tours that they offer inside the building. But listen to me carefully, okay? They only offer 2 tours a day, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And one of the rooms they bring you in is that grand ballroom. Now, I have to admit, when I saw those stained glass windows from the inside out, they are absolutely stunning. Folks, if you get a chance to do a tour inside and you like architecture, the Flagler Legacy Tour is definitely one I always recommend here in St. Augustine. So Mr. Flagler has the electricity inside because Edison builds the specific steam plant to power the electricity. And if you want to see what Mr. Flagler looks like, take a look out to your right. There's a statue of him standing right in front of the building. Now remember, if you want to do that tour, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot jump off right here. Our stop for the Flagler Legacy Tour is either across the street on our left here at our next stop, the Via Zareta, or it's at our next stop after that, the Lightyear Museum. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to stop right in front of the building here on King Street. Now, the Via Zareta that I'm about to take you to, ladies and gentlemen, was not built as a museum. It was built as a private residence by a Boston millionaire, Franklin Waldo Smith. Mr. Smith, who comes to St. Augustine to visit, decides that he falls in love with the area too and wants to build a residence here. The residence that he wants to build, though, is to match the Alhambra Palace in Spain. Well, it's too big for this plot of land, so he actually has to decide to make it a little bit smaller. Well, how much smaller? He builds it as a replica of the wing at 1/10 its size. Ladies and gentlemen, inside this building on your right, you'll find the collections of Mr. Smith all on display through his state-of-the-art self-guided audio tour. Now, that tour is offered in 3 different languages: English, Spanish, and French. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go to the Via Zareta, it's out to the right through the orange cones as we make our stop here for this beautiful hotel, now, or this beautiful residence, turned into a museum. It's now safe to exit or enter. All aboard. Alright, so we're going to make our way back to our next stop, the Lightyear Museum, and to get there, we are going to pass back by Mr. Flagler's Hotel, the Ponce de Leon Hotel. Well, now it's known as Flagler College, okay? It actually stayed a hotel all the way up until 1967. It would close down for just 1 year when it opens in 1968. It is a college for young ladies only. You heard me right, folks. It was females only, actually, for the first 3 years. Then it went co-ed. Been that way ever since. Well, if you guys just want to walk around the outside of the grounds, you're more than welcome to do so. I love the courtyard at the other side of that fence behind the statue of Flagler. There's a great fountain inside with 12 frogs around the bottom and 4 ducks in the middle. It's a great place to just walk around the outside. You can even go into the main foyer area there. Now, you can't get past the foyer unless you're a student. They do have security guards there, as well as an elevator if you were trying to get past it. So if you wanted to walk around there just the outside, you're more than welcome to do so. Several presidents have stayed there over the years. One of them that I know for sure was Teddy Roosevelt. Came back in 1901, wanted to stay inside, but it wasn't open. So Mr. Flagler wouldn't open the hotel himself. He actually had his brother-in-law open the hotel because Mr. Roosevelt was investigating Standard Oil for some inappropriate activity. He doesn't want to come face to face with the president, so he sends his brother-in-law to do it. Well, that was because he came in October. If he would have came in any other time, it would have been open in January and February. Alright, let's make our way to our next stop, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Flagler's second hotel, the beautiful Alcazar Hotel in front of you on the right, now known as the Lightyear Museum. You'll notice that in front of that building there is a statue, and that statue is, of course, of none other than Mr. Don Pedro Menendez of obvious fame, the establisher of St. Augustine, who stands right in front of the building. If you guys are looking for the collection works of a guy by the name of Mr. Otto Leitner, well then you're going to want to go inside this building. As we stop out front, in front of the statue of Don Pedro Menendez, there's my buddy Marco. Hey bud! And his family. Hello everybody. Hey guys, how you doing? We'll stop here, ladies and gentlemen. It's now safe for anybody who might want to exit here. The Alcazar and the Leitner.
Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
You guys are jumping up here? My friend Jamie and his wife. What do you guys do? No, you don't need to do that. His girlfriend. You're very welcome. It's good to see you guys. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're fine with that. You're gonna just go a little slower. You can jump over in the middle. Thank you, sir. And thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you, Tippett. Yeah, I'll try to tell you. It's fun out here, you know, lots of people, lots of new friends, lots of old faces back here, familiar faces, so. You guys are off and you ride the train? Come on. We'll keep an eye out for you. Enjoy it out there. Trolley just went by over there. See you guys.
Bye.
Well, welcome back, guys. It's good to see you again. I'm glad you're welcome. Good to see you back on the train here, folks, as we make our way out of the Alcazar and the Lightyear Museum. Let's talk a little bit about this building, folks, because this building is the hotel that Mr. Flagler wanted to build, but that little church was in his way, Grace United Methodist Church. So when I showed you up the block, right? So Flagler gets together with the congregation. He moves the church up the block. He starts construction of this hotel. Now this one turns out to be a whole lot different than the Ponce across the street. How do I know? Because I looked it up for a few of my Smokey extras. Guys, this one was a lot smaller than the Ponce. This one had 300 rooms, the Ponce had 450. This one was open almost all year round. The other one 3 months out of the year. This one you can stay inside for just $2 a day. Before that $2, you got a ton of amenities, like a Russian bath, Turkish bath, bowling alley, gambling casino, several dance rooms, and look at that rotunda right there. That, my friend's house at the time, the largest indoor swimming pool of the day known to man. Folks, that pool, 120 feet long, 50 feet wide, 3 feet shallow in the shallow end, 12 feet deep in the deep end. It even had, get this, a hand-crankable, retractable ceiling. You heard me right, folks. You can actually open up the ceiling and swim under the skies here back in the 1800s. But it's time for a few more of my Smokey extras, because guess what I find out you could not do in that swimming pool? Not what some of you are thinking. Do you know I found out that if you were a male, you couldn't swim next to a female or vice versa? Now don't get me wrong, it wasn't the law, it was the 1800s. They frowned upon men and women swimming next to each other. Guys, you know me by now, I can't be satisfied with that, I gotta dig a little bit deeper. I need to find out what's Flagler gonna do to solve this problem. Do you know what I find out? Flagler says, Smokey, that's not a problem. I'll just divide the pool in half. Well guys, that could have solved some of the problem if he would have divided it lengthwise. But he doesn't. I find out that Flagler thinks it's a better idea to divide that pool widthwise. Why? I found out why. Some of you aren't gonna like it, but hear me out. I found out that Mr. Flagler thought that the men, that's right guys, the men, we should get the whole shallow end of that pool to ourselves so we can stand around in the 3-foot section smoking our cigars and talking about the day's affairs. Now ladies, don't get mad at me please, I'm just telling you what I found out. Flagler thought it'd be best if you ladies tread water in the deep end all day. Why? His logic was, if you tread water, you'll be tired. And if you're tired, you might be less likely to gossip. Now, I don't agree with that, but I'm sure some of you guys might stand by me on this one. Maybe that's why you ladies are such better swimmers than us men today. Am I right, ladies on the train? Make some noise! Woo! And if you're not a better swimmer, maybe that's why you ladies will live longer. Make some more noise! Woo! Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you want to do something fun together, go back to the hotel, check out the pool, because not only did they drain out the pool, but they also put a cafe at the bottom of it. You heard me right, folks. You can eat at the bottom of a swimming pool. How many people can say they've done that besides me? Nobody. Oh, my friend's Marco and then, well guys, everybody else, check out the Cafe Alcazar. It's open 7 days a week, but it's only open for lunch from 11 to 3. So if you want to go, give them a call. You might need a reservation inside the Cafe Alcazar. Alright, let's talk about what's on the right. I'll talk about the left when I come back in a couple of minutes. This is called historic Lincolnville, okay? Lincolnville was established by former slaves in the early 1860s. By the mid-1860s, it was a vigorous community. It had its own churches, schools, shopping district, you name it. Now, the residents that were established in Lincolnville, folks, they needed employment. Who were they going to turn to? The richest man in town, of course, Henry Morrison Flagler. Great idea. Flagler hires people from all over St. Augustine. Lincolnville was no exception. But my friends, it's time for another exceptional Smokey Extra, because I find out that a small group of the residents that Flagler hired from Lincolnville would go on to form the first American professional African-American baseball team. That's right, folks, they came from right here in Lincolnville. And I found out that baseball team had 2 different names, okay? That's not normal. One name when they played at home, which was the Ponce de Leon Giants, after the hotel I showed you not too long ago. But when they played away, I found out they changed their name and called themselves the Cuban Giants. Why? Well, believe it or not, the other teams were intimidated about playing against an all-African-American team. So they thought if they called themselves the Cuban Giants, they would believe that there were Cuban players on the team. Well, there were no Cuban players on that team. They were all African-American. But check out this part of my extra. One of the players on that team, I found out his name was Frank Grant. And I found out that Mr. Grant would go on to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. That was my home run hit. I thought it was alright. Not a good crack in the back. Alright, if you guys want to do something fun and free, listen to me carefully. Our next stop, the San Sebastian winery. Do you like that rhyme right there? Fun, free, winery. Alright, this building on your right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, was not built as a winery. It was built as a warehouse for Mr. Flagler's railway station. Well, they converted it into a winery where today and every day you can go inside for a free tour. That's right, you'll see how they get the grapes from Tallahassee. Then they process those grapes into wine. And at the end of that free tour, they're going to give you free samples of the wine. Well, guess what, folks? I found out if you do the tour over and over again, they'll keep giving you more free wine. Sorry. They also have juice if you're not interested in the wine. My friends, these tours start every 15 minutes and they last about 45 minutes. Our next stop is out to the right if you're going to leave me here at the San Sebastian Winery. Remember, if you're going to exit here, please exit carefully to the right side of my train as I stop here for the winery. It's now safe if you'd like to exit or ask a question. Yes? That's my next stop. That's my next stop. Yeah. You're welcome. My friends are jumping off back there. Have a good time, and maybe I'll catch up with you later. Thank you for riding with me. I got to touch base with my dispatcher, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back off the microphone here. All aboard, folks. Here we go. Well, for my friends that just joined me, my name is Smokey. Welcome aboard. Hang on, my dispatcher's calling me back here. So, for those of you that didn't leave for the winery, maybe it's because you're more interested in chocolate. Who likes chocolate on that train? Give me a whoop whoop. I got a feeling back there. Well, then you might be interested in our next stop because, my friends, I'm about to take you to a working chocolate factory. That's right. Right in front of us, you might notice, is the St. Augustine Police Department. And now you'll notice it's right on the other side of, across the street from the winery. That's right. Well, on the other side of that Police Department is a working chocolate factory where you can go inside for a tour. Now, unfortunately, that chocolate tour is not a free tour like the winery. And unfortunately, you will not get an everlasting gobstopper or skinny Oompa Loompas along the way. But let me tell you what you get for your paid admission to our chocolate factory. You get to watch a video and a presentation about how they make their chocolate. After that, they give you a lovely little hat. Some people call that hat a hairnet. Folks, you can call it whatever you want. You get to keep that hat. That's when the fun begins. Because once you're wearing the hat, they start bringing you through the chocolate factory on your left. And as you're going through, they're giving you chocolates and confections to taste along the way. Not only that, they're also going to give you a $2 coupon to use inside their cafe. Now, if you want to do the tour on the left, you got to go on the cafe on the right. Tell them that you're interested. Now, typically, they only have 5 tours a day. The first tour is always at 10. The last tour is always at 3:30. But they've added a few extra tours today because of the busy week, because of bike week. And so when we get up there, I might be a little bit off because I don't remember the times, but I think there's one at 1:30 or 1:45. So we'll double check the schedule here when we get up to our stop for the Whetstones Chocolate Factory. These guys help make the mold of the Hershey Kiss, guys. If you want to find out that and more, you might want to take the tour inside Whetstones. All right, let me see what we got here. Right now, my watch says 1:23. The next tour is at 1:30. After that, it's 2:15, 2:45, and 3:30. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now safe to exit or enter here at the Whetstone Chocolate Factory. Ladies, is this where you want to go? You gonna stick with me? Okay. And my 2 friends that are climbing on back there, welcome aboard. My name is Smokey. Nice to meet you. Sir, be careful with your hat. Sometimes the wind blows through. If your hat flies off, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to stop to get it. If you guys want to just stroll down, get a frozen hot chocolate, stroll down King Street, or check out some of these art galleries like Boca or Butterfield Garage if you like local art. For those of you looking for the art of making sandwiches, you should go to Subway. But if you want to find great local art, I always suggest Rembrandt's on your right. Why? Because this little art gallery right here has been voted year after year best unique store, best art gallery, best gift shop here in St Augustine. My friends, you might not be aware of it, but when you bought tickets for the red train, we've often been voted best guided tour for the city of St. Augustine. Make some noise back there! Woo! We're proud of that. And if you want to get around town other than a train, go see my friends in front of us on the right at St. Augustine Bike Rental. My friends, these guys have everything you can imagine with wheels on it, from scooters, segways, bicycles, golf carts, wheelchairs, baby strollers. I mean, if it's got wheels, these guys got it. You can either rent or buy from them and fly around the town, and when you're done, drop it off, and then stroll up to the chocolate factory, have a frozen hot chocolate, or make your way down Riberia to our next stop, the St. Augustine Distillery. Now to get there, folks, we are going to pass by not only the St. Augustine Bike Rental on your right, the 123 Burger House on your left if you're looking for a burger, and we're also going to pass by the old cigar factory on your right. Said to be the last industrial building still standing here in St. Augustine, often referred to as the Soya Carcaba. Or if you're looking for a farmer's market experience, check out the Ripe and Ready on your left. They got fresh produce, dairy, eggs, cane syrup, and a little petting zoo inside. Now when you're done, stroll on down to our next stop, the green and white building on your right, today known as the St. Augustine Distillery. Now, it wasn't always a distillery. It was, of course, originally built as Florida's first power and ice plant. Do you know that they used to make block ice inside this building, folks? Up to 300-pound blocks of ice. Now, what do you do with that? Well, you put it in the back of a truck or a wagon, like this one in front of us on the right. You drive around the neighborhood. Now, when they get to your house, if they see a wooden box on your porch, they chip a piece off, they put it in there, and they call that your ice box. Well, they've since converted this building into a bar, a restaurant, a legal distillery, where you can go inside for a free tour. And when you're done with the free tour, they'll give you some free samples. That's right, if you like vodka, try the free little drink called the Florida Mule. You don't like vodka, try the world-renowned gin and tonic. You don't like gin and tonics or vodka? Then you might want to think about trying a different tour. Now, you can also try their bourbon or their rum, and if you don't like those either, how about a sampling of their non-award-winning pink lemonade? Ladies and gentlemen, these tours start every half hour on the hour, and they last about 45 minutes. The next tour starting in 5 minutes on your left, here at the St. Augustine Distillery, where it's now safe for anybody who might want to exit here, or enter, or remain. All aboard, here we go then. Alright, my friend's gonna go out and block the traffic on that side, so we're gonna go out this way. Remember folks, hold on tight. This is a very bumpy curve here, so I don't want anybody falling off. No, I'm kidding, nobody ever falls off. But I will be honest, sometimes my friends that come out of that distillery tour, they sure do wobble on. You guys did a great job, way to go. If you want to try a food truck while you're in town, look out to your right. In between the buildings back there, there's a food truck that's called Crave. They got smoothies, wraps, salads, and more, and they've been voted best food truck here in St. Augustine. The only problem is they're only open for lunch, so if you want to go, you gotta go between 11 and 3. As for our train, let's take a you back through historic Lincolnville. Now remember folks, Lincolnville established by former slaves. So before they called it Lincolnville, they called it Little Africa. Before that they called it the Buena Esperanza Plantation, the good old plantation. Folks, look out to your left. This used to be citrus groves back here, as far as the eye can see, okay? In the late 1800s, we had several days where it got just above 9 degrees here in the state of Florida. That damages the citrus groves, makes room for these beautiful Victorian homes, often referred to as the Painted Ladies. Well, check out this beautiful Painted Lady coming up on your left at the next corner. Because it used to be in ruins, the guy fixes it up, turns it into a restaurant. He calls it preserved because he preserved as much of the building as he could while restoring it. Folks, if you want to dine in Lincolnville, Preserved on your left is a great place to do it. It's on the corner of Bridge Street, which I'm on, and a very unique street I'm about to cross over, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. Has anybody on my train ever seen a street with that name before? Yeah, there's a bunch of them. But this one is unique, and I'll tell you why. Back in the 1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. King comes to St. Augustine, right here in Lincolnville, and marched on that street with his name on it. In silence, folks, I can't say it about all of them, but I can say it about that one. I could also let you know, Dr. King would spend the night in this house on your right, the white one with the red trim. Now, he only spent one night inside this house. He was in fear for his life, so he had to move from day to day, house to house, in order to make it out alive. He would use this dentist's office on your right to arrange his peaceful protest. So, I look it up for a few of my Smokey extras. You know what I find out? The dentist's office owned and operated by an African-American dentist, Dr. Robert B. Haling. That's not what makes it unique. What makes it unique, I found out, it was the first ever medical dentist's office built in the state of Florida to have a non-segregated waiting room. Now folks, that is pretty unique because we're talking 1960s Civil Rights Movement. Lincolnville definitely is very separated from historic St. Augustine, but you have an African-American dentist with a mixed clientele. That makes it very unique. Now as I make the left here, I want you to keep looking out to your right. You'll see a stone wall with a yellow building number 149 on it right here. Behind this wall, ladies and gentlemen, 9 historic homes, dating back from 1790 to 1910. All their original foundation. They've been fixed up, they've been renovated, they've been repaired, they've been turned into luxury inns and gardens. You want to stay inside a historic home in St. Augustine, check out the Collector on your right. Or keep looking out to your right. This parking lot is also very historic. This is where they read the Emancipation Proclamation back in the 1860s, freeing the former slaves. And then keep looking out to your right for another Smokey extra. The third house down on your right, the one with the rusted roof on it. I find out the house that Al Capone would stay in when he came to St. Augustine. Why did he come to St. Augustine? To gamble. On your left, at the Alcazar Hotel, now known as the Lightner Museum. If you're wondering where that name comes from, the Lightner Museum, so did I. So I look it up and I find out it's like a lot of things in St. Augustine. It gets its name from something associated with it. Well, this gets its name from its last owner, a guy by the name of Mr. Otto Lightner. Guys, Mr. Lightner, a hobbyist who collected other people's collections. And inside that building today, you'll find over 40,000 pieces of Mr. Lightner's on display, including Mr. Lightner. That's right, folks, I found Mr. Lightner buried in the courtyard of his very own museum, and I call that creepy. You can call it whatever you want. On the right, though, let's agree to call this the third and final hotel in St. Augustine of Mr. Flagler's, the Casa Monica. Now, the unique thing about this beautiful hotel, I find out, is that Mr. Flagler does not build it. It was actually built by Franklin Waldo Smith. If that name sounds familiar, it should, folks. It's the same guy who built the Via Zareta just up the block to our left behind the Chase building. And I know what you're saying now. Smokey, why on earth does Mr. Smith build a hotel right across the street from Mr. Flagler's hotels? But think about it this way, and it might make more sense. Why does CVS build a store right across the street from Walgreens? Competition! Right, Mr. Smith thought if I spare no expense and I build a luxurious hotel, that maybe, just maybe, some of Flagler's guests will stay with me instead of Flagler. Guys, that wasn't a bad idea. Except for the sparing no expense part. You see, I find out that in doing that, Mr. Smith would go so close to bankrupt. After being open for a very short time, he decides he has to sell it. And who does he sell it to? Mr. Flagler, that's right, for nothing. Do you know that Flagler scoops up this building on your right for just 9 cents on the dollar? He renames it the Cordova, and it stays that way all the way up until the 1990s. Then it's purchased by another hotelier, Richard Kessler. Kessler would resurface the building and rename it back to the Casa Monica. Guys, you're looking at St. Augustine's one and only 4-star hotel. As we pass by the Casa Monica, making our way to our next stop, we're going back in time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going back to the 1500s. That's right, y'all look a little bit younger back here. We just went back to a time when King Philip set out a decree called the Plan, and the plan stated that in the middle of your city you need to have an open plaza. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at your left, this plaza is that plaza as part of the King's Decree. It's called the Plaza de Constitution, and it was set to be the heart and soul of the city in the 1500s. It is still the heart and soul of our city today. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your destination, I'm going to ask you to exit carefully to the left as I get to a complete stop here. But if it's not, stick with me because we got a lot more to talk about around this beautiful city of St. Augustine. As we stop, the Plaza de Constitution. It is now safe for anybody who might want to exit here. Or, you guys are leaving? Was it something I said? You're welcome. It was nice meeting you guys. Oh, look at the doggy. All right, have a good time out there. Maybe I'll catch up with you guys later on. If I don't, have a wonderful time in the city here. Call aboard. Here we go. All right, so a few moments ago, I told you guys that a lot of things here in St. Augustine get their name from something associated with the area, right? So this street I'm turning on, definitely no exception. It's called Cathedral Place. Why? Because of the Treasury building in the middle of the block. I'm kidding, of course. I'm talking about because of our cathedral in the middle of the block. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got to your front right, that cathedral is no ordinary cathedral, okay? First of all, if you look up at the side, that's a statue of St. Augustine in the side of the building right there. And this building, I look up for a few of my Smokey extras, is no ordinary cathedral. This is a cathedral, Basilica Minor. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, I look it up and I find out this was a cathedral till the 1970s, okay? Then the Pope designates it as a Basilica Minor because of its history. My friends, inside that building right there, they found birth records, death records, baptismal records, all dating back to the 1500s. So what does that mean, Cathedral Basilica Minor? Well, when I look it up, I find out it means that since the building was named by the Pope as such, if the Pope were to come into St. Augustine, not only could he stay in the corridors that they had to build from inside, he could also say a mass in there as well. Now, you guys might not know this or not, but back on September the 8th of 2015, our little city here turned 450 years old. You also might not know you were in the city of the site of the very first ever Catholic Mass, celebrating in what was to become the United States of America. So we invite the Pope for our celebration. Guess what we get? A letter from the Vatican. You know what it said? I said, no, I can't make it. But it did say it would send his top cardinal in his place, who came to St. Augustine and celebrated Mass inside our Cathedral Basilica Minor. Now, I'm not going around the plaza because I'm trying to make everybody dizzy, okay? I want to show you Trinity Episcopal Parish on your right. Said to be the first Episcopal parish in the state of Florida. And I got a Smokey extra special window to show you. But to see it, you're going to have to turn all the way around to the right on your seat and turn it and back and look at the side of the building as we go by past this green sign on your right. You'll look back and you'll see a stained glass window on the side facing to the east. It's a blue cloaked figure and a white angel. Well, guys, when I look up that church, you know, I find out that that window is actually one of the few remaining windows you can get up close to and personal that has been hand signed by Mr. Louis Comfort Tiffany. And then look straight out to your right. Look at that stained glass window right there. The angel with no face. Do you know that certain times of the day, certain times of the year, the light will hit that window just right, causing a face to appear? So they call it, appropriately, the disappearing angel. Both of those windows inside Trinity Episcopal Parish, excuse me, if you get a chance to go inside, I always definitely recommend that one. And for all my friends back there that remember Woolworths, raise your hand. Okay, well right here on your right, this Wells Fargo used to be a Woolworths. Look at the handles. They even still say Woolworths on it. Well, guess what? During the Civil Rights Movement, several African American students, as you see on that placard, sat at the lunch counter, tried to order lunch. They were subsequently arrested. Well, the Wells Fargo actually still has a piece of that lunch counter inside the bank. If you guys want to go see history up close and personal, you got to stop by the Wells Fargo. Even if you're not going in to go to do banking, check out that lunch counter inside. You can get up so close to it you can touch it, but don't touch it. They have the banner in there for in front of it for a reason. But folks, how many places can you go where you can get that close to history and that you can almost touch it? St. Augustine is definitely one of those places. Now, we are about to make our turn down the oldest street in the United States, but we are caught in a little bit of bridge traffic right here. So we're hopefully going to make it on our next light here. If you guys are thinking about walking down that street, there's a lot of history on this street too. We're going to talk about that in just a second here. We're one of the only tour companies that could go down the street because our trains were specifically designed and built for the narrow roadways here in St. Augustine. So the only other people you might see on your street are the horse and carriages or the golf carts. So I like to call it a red train exclusive. All right, let's make our turn down this street, ladies and gentlemen, as my friend here. Now, this is a vehicular road here, so you'll notice that our train fits right down it. And ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't always called Belize. after our sister city, Obviously, Spain. Look out to your left. It used to be called Hospital Street because of the Spanish military hospital on your left. Well, they've now converted that hospital into a fantastic museum with a great historic tour inside where you can go around and explore and learn about the history of medicine here in St. Augustine as we make our way down beautiful Avenue Street here. My friend Jamie here. Hi, buddy. You guys can stop and get ice cream and pie all together in one little ice cream sandwich at Peace Pie on your right as we make our way down to our stop here, the corner of Avalise and Artillery Lane. If this is your destination, folks, stay down safe if you'd like to exit or remain. All right, on the board. Now today is Tuesday, so that means a couple of things. One, everything on your right will be open as far as historic buildings, and typically most of the things on your left will be closed because they're open on Mondays. They actually flip sides. These guys are open on Mondays, these are closed on Mondays, and now it's Tuesday, these guys are open, these guys are closed. But it looks like my friend at the art gallery might be open. Next door to her, you have a leather shop and a print shop and more. These guys might be closed. But if you're looking for historic buildings, the Seguy Kirby Smith House right there, once a private residence, now under the Free Public Library of Archaeological Records, and in front of us is the Jimenez Fascia House, a circa 1798, once an old boarding house with a detached kitchen, now turned into a museum. Great tour inside this one as well. Alright, you guys have been with me for a while. You know that I like to talk a lot, so some of you might be happy. I gotta shut my mouth back here. They say it disturbs the guests. So enjoy the silence as I make my way down beautiful Avenue. Alright, that's all you know. Look at this wall right here on the right side. Do you like this dates back to the 1500s, okay? The holes on the side, some of those are said to be made from cannon fire, musket fire. People were shooting at the wall, still standing. Look at it carefully, though. Notice the tiny shells inside. That lets us know that that wall is made out of, sing it with me if you know it, coquina. Alright, now I really am going to try and be quiet, but I am at a point, so keep an eye on me. Enjoy the views, the silence, and the bumps. Who wants to do it again backwards? I'm kidding, we're not doing it backward. But I'm not kidding, folks. Mark it off your bucket list. You just went down the oldest street in the United States. You did it today on the red train with Smokey. Do you notice how narrow that street was? Notice how narrow this street is again? These streets are all narrow on purpose. Why? Well, the King of Spain believed that if you have narrow streets by a bayfront, which is directly in front of us, the wind off of that bay would blow up the street, causing a wind tunnel effect. And I love a couple of these houses back here, so I do a little Smokey extra research. This one right here, an 1889 home, sketched out by Mr. Flagler himself. It recently went on the market. Folks, if you're thinking about buying, give Debbie a call. My friend Marilyn used to live at number 11. This is an 1888 Victorian home. Now, she got too old to take care of it. My friends across the street bought it. They're now fixing it up a block away from the beautiful Matanzas Bay in front of us. Down Marine Street on your right, I found several houses that date back to the 1700s, guys. If you like old Spanish architecture, Victorian architecture, this is a great place to walk around that not too many people know about. Now in front of us, of course, that is the beautiful Matanzas Bay. Now the word Matanza, it's a Spanish word. How many people on my train back there know Spanish well? Raise your hand. Nobody. Okay, well then you might not know that the word Matanza does not mean beautiful. Unfortunately, it means massacre or slaughter. Guys, that beautiful bay on your left was renamed the Matanzas Bay after a horrible massacre that took place here back in the 1500s. Now, I don't like to talk about that on my train. As I told you earlier, I got two little girls at home. I like to keep it light and fluffy. I call it by its original name, the Bay of the Dancing Dolphin. Why? Because if you stare at the water long enough, you're bound to see dolphins swimming out there. My girls and I do it all the time. But I can't stop and look for dolphins right now because we got to get this train all the way back to the year 1702. The time when an Englishman by the name of James Moore from South Carolina came to St. Augustine and tried to take over the city. Now, he didn't realize we had a fort made out of stone. Everybody hid inside that fort. He was unsuccessful. He was very angry. He burnt the city down on the ground, starts to rebuild it and leave. Well, the first house built after the fires of 1702 is on your right. It's known as the Gonzales Alvarez house, but it's also referred to by many as the oldest house. Ladies and gentlemen, our stop on the red train is for the oldest house. You two ladies can come on and join me here as we stop at the oldest house. All aboard. Hi ladies, how you doing? I stopped here so they can get photo ops of you guys as you pass by. Now I want everybody to look up and notice the second story of the house, okay? Because that is not traditional. Okay, I look up a traditional Spanish home for one of my extras and I find out it's a one-story, two-room house made out of coquina, right? So now when the British come, they burn down this house. The only thing that remains is the shell. They start to rebuild, and when they rebuild, they add the second story. Well guys, I'm about to show you a traditional Spanish home as one of my extras here. But to do that, I'm gonna have to thread the needle. So if you don't like tight spaces, you might want to close your eyes here, because I gotta make a right down this little tiny side street here called Charlotte Street, and believe it or not, I've made this turn once or twice. I'm kidding, of course. You can't do the tour if you can make that turn. Guys, put your hands up and scream. Whee! Hey, thanks for playing along. Alright, if you guys check out down the block here on your right, you'll see a white building right past that white building with the green shutters. A little tiny peach house with wood shutters. That's your Smokey Extra traditional Spanish home. One story, two-room house made out of coquina. Check out the three pipes that hang out over the windows. Guys, those are called canales. Canales is a Spanish word and it means channels. It's an early form of a gutter system. The rain collects on the roof and makes its way to those pipes and then out onto the street. And check out this Smokey Extra right in front of me, the Cheche house. Now, almost everybody in St. Augustine believes that that house in front of us is a Sears catalog home. When you buy it out of a magazine, they send you everything in the mail. So I look it up and I find out those houses exist. Then I look up that house and find out it's not one of them. Guys, that is an 1800s home that was slated to be torn down at one point. If they tore it down, they were going to put the Sears catalog home there, but they never got the chance. The residents of St. Augustine would protest. So instead of destroying it on a house, they restore it, and that's when I say, yay, protesters! And on your right, check out this Smokey Extra. This used to be a bunch of thatch roof huts, a Franciscan friary known as Our Lady of Immaculate Conception. Well, when the British come, they burnt down the huts. They built this huge military barracks. It's still a military barracks. As a matter of fact, it's called St. Francis Barracks, and it's home to the headquarters of the Florida National Guard. Go Guard. And if you want to check out the National Cemetery, ladies and gentlemen, look out to your right, past the barracks there. See a white fence down there on the right. That is the National Cemetery, open to the public between the hours of, I believe, 9 and 4. Across the water, a black and white striped building with a red roof on it. That is our lighthouse. It's over on Anastasia Island. It's a working lighthouse, and it's 164 feet tall, 219 steps up. Well, my friends, if you want to climb up to the top for a beautiful view, it's another 219 back down. That's 438 stairs round trip. So instead of climbing the stairs for the view, why not look out to the right at the most beautiful bridge around, the Bridge of Lions, spanning from St. Augustine to Anastasia Island. And of course, I had to look up that bridge for a few of my extras. Do you know I found out that bridge right there spans 1,535 feet across? I also find out it is the last double-leaf jackknife bridge ever built in the United States. It was built from 1925 to 1927. What that means is the two leaves in the middle are going to open up out to like this, the ships go through, and then it closes back down. We have several ships that you can go on while you're in town. The Nail Victoria, the Schooner Freedom, and the Black Raven pirate ship. Arrgh. That's right, mateys. If you want to go out for a pirate adventure, take a trip on the Black Raven pirate ship that goes out for a pirate battle at sea, which is completely safe for ages of kids, adults, and all. Now, if you want to leave for any of these tours I mentioned, well, then you're going to need to exit at my next stop. But if you are going to leave me at this stop, or any stop, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. If you enjoy yourself today, or do not enjoy yourself while riding with me, do me a favor. Head on over to your laptop, your cell phone, your computer, to a website called tripadvisor.com. Punch in Red Train Tours of St. Augustine. Click on the link, and then write a review and say something about Smokey and the Red Train. Guys, it can be good, it can be bad. I take all comments and criticisms to heart. We're going to stop here for our Ripley's Bayfront stop in the marina. If you want to play 18 holes of golf on the oldest carpeted miniature golf course in St. Augustine or in the U.S. for just $2, you can do it right here at our Ripley's Bayfront stop. If you go on an exit here, folks, you can do so now while I'm waiting at the light. And realize we're going to head on up to our fort stop, the next stop. Ding, ding. I don't want to scare the horsies, so I'm doing it that way. All right, we're going to take a look, make sure nobody's waiting here. I don't see anybody waiting on the benches here as we make our way past. To our next stop, we're making our way up to the fort. And to get there, we're going to pass by the Bridge of Lions. And look at the lines at the foot of the bridge. I'm going to tell you all about those guys in a second after I tell my dispatcher I'm here. out that those lines are not typical stone. Those are Carrara marble lines, ladies and gentlemen. They were quarries from the same quarry as the original statue of David in Italy. But I also found out that those lines were given to us by a once prominent figure in town by the name of Dr. Andrew Anderson. Now you might not recognize that name, don't worry. Dr. Anderson was once the mayor of St. Augustine. His dad, with the same name though, was a personal physician to Henry Morrison Flagler. Across the water, that's Anastasia Island. That's where all the coquina you'll find here in St. Augustine came from. Well, that quarry has long since been closed. But before they closed it, they built our next stop. It's the largest fort in the United States ever made out of coquina. Ladies and gentlemen, our stop in front of us is our fort, and this is our 10th fort. We had 9 prior to this one. They were all made out of wood. And in 1672, they started to construct this one. They didn't finish until 1695. It took them 23 years to build a fort with over 400,000 blocks of coquina just in the fort alone. This fort has never ever been taken in battle, and I found out this Smokey extra, every one of those stones was cut and set by hand. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a National Park Pass, you get it for free as we stop at what's known as the Castillo de San Marcos, but it's often referred to as, well, the fort. Our next stop. If this is your destination, I'm going to ask that you exit carefully to the right as I make my stop here for the Castillo. It's now safe to exit or enter. For all you folks that are leaving, sorry to see you go. Hope you had a good time. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your tip. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Bye, ladies. Bye, guys. Thank you. I appreciate your tip, too. You guys are very kind. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was nice meeting you guys. I'm glad you had a good time out there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are very kind. I appreciate all your tips. Thank you. My friends that are coming on the back. Do you already have tickets for the train? My friends in the back that are climbing on. Do you have tickets?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't see your sticker anywhere. Do you have? Can you just flash me a sticker from back there? Or a ticket stub? That's for the Old Town Trolley. That's the big green and orange one that comes by here too. I'm sorry. Different company. They'll be by here for you guys shortly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's the orange and green one. He looks like that guy over there in the parking lot. He's going out the other side there. But he'll stop right here too, and he'll pick you up right here. Sorry. Yeah, ladies, go ahead. I'll wait for you. Sorry about that. Have a good day. We'll see you later on. All right, folks, we're gonna make our way out of the fort here. Are you guys trying to get on? You already have tickets for me already? Oh, there's your sticker. Perfect. Come on, I'll wait for you. Wait, did you guys ride with me yesterday?
Yeah.
I thought so. I'm like, wait a minute, I remember you two. Welcome back. Good to see you, in case you forgot.
We got one more.
All right, I'll wait for him too. He's moseying along. We'll wait for him. Does he have a good sense of humor? We'll start to pull away.
Yeah, I do.
I'm kidding, of course. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? Good. All right, here we go. We're heading out now for real as we head out here from the fort. Some of you guys might be looking out to your right, that fort, and you might be saying, wait a minute, Smokey, didn't you just say this fort was never, ever taken in battle? Well, guys, I did, and if you're wondering how that can be, let me let you know on a couple of secrets. For one, the stone that it's made out of, coquina. Guys, when coquina comes out of the ground, it's very soft. It kind of reminds me of pizza dough. You can punch it, you can shape it, you can mold it, but you can't really damage it. Well, they say that if we were under attack, if the walls were even slightly wet, the cannonballs would literally punch off the outer walls of the fort. They would actually either make a dent or they would bounce off the outer walls. Well, guess what? That dent, they would just push it farther in or pry it out, smooth it over, and continue to build. The other reason why I was never taken in battle is that hill on your right. Now, I've lived here 12 years from New York City, and I have never seen another hill in St. Augustine. So when I saw that one, I had to look it up for a few of my Smokey extras. Do you know I found out that that hill right there is man-made? It was made on purpose to deceive the enemy. If the enemy ever made it to shore, they would think they were going to climb to the top of that little hill and take over a very short fort, only to find to their surprise a very tall fort hidden inside a dry moat. They'd also find themselves right in line at any kind of fire with nowhere to go but them. Now, the walls on that fort used to be painted white. The corners were called turrets. Those were painted red, matching the Spanish battle flag. They wanted to make sure that if you saw that fort from the water, you knew it was occupied by Spain. And though it's never been taken in battle, it has been traded several times. At one point, it was even used as an old jail. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get the chance to go inside, make sure you check out the jail cells or go up onto the roof for a beautiful view of the bay. Now, somebody back there might need to go to Ripley's. Do me a favor, do not jump, tuck, and roll here at the light. I will get you back here shortly and safely. I do have to go up to the northern end first, then I come back down and I stop at Ripley's. So we do have a few more fun things to talk about, of course, and some more history to talk about as we make our way up. And we'll start right here by talking about these two. Hi guys. I'm not stopping. Do you want to get on? Jump on quickly. Don't tell anybody I said that though. Come on. I'm going to the north end. Is that where you want to go? Okay. Come on then. Before the light changes, people behind me will start to honk and get mad at me. Remember, hold on to your hats, okay? Because this straightaway here, we get this bad boy up to about 9.5 miles an hour, and sometimes that wind will blow us out of your head. All right, let's start about talking about my name is Smokey. Nice to see you guys. The statues that are in front here, this one's called Li Chi. The other one on the right is called King Kang. Ladies and gentlemen, these statues were acquired by Mr. Ripley back in the 1930s, put in front of his house in Long Island, New York, called Bion, believe it or not, Island. When we acquired that building in 1950, we acquired the statues. If you want a cool lamp while you're in town, check out Happy Pappy glowing balls on your right. They make the lamp right there in front of you. You ask them for the shape, the size, the colors that you want, and they make it for you. It takes them about 5 to 10 minutes. Not very expensive, but pretty cool. If you want to try some French cuisine while you're in town, then you might want to stop by Le Pavillon on your inside. It has been voted best French restaurant in St Augustine. On your left, 360 Boutique if you're looking for fashion. And if you like toys, you might want to check out Bill's Diecast in front of us, where he's got planes, cars, trucks, and more, all inside in diecast. On the left, you got Coastal Traders, you have DHC Home, and the Spanish Dutch Cowboy. Antiques and Things is one of my favorite antique shops, and you never know, you might find a hidden treasure inside. If you do, bring it home and put it on your mantle, but don't be surprised if every time you look at it, it reminds you of Smokey in the Red Train. It could happen. And if you have a sweet tooth, stop by Lily's Bakery coming up on your left-hand side. This yellow building is a bakery that's been voted best bakery in St. Augustine. Why? Because their cupcakes are sorry, they're really good. You might want to check them out. Folks, I can't stop at Lily's. I wish I could, but I gotta make my way to our next stop out to the right, which is said to be the most significant, historical stop of our journey today. That large cross out there, we're gonna get a little bit closer to it, marking the spot where the young Spaniard by the name of Don Pedro Menendez of Abilene, Spain would come ashore. The date, September the 8th, the year 1565, and when he comes ashore, he meets up with a priest by the name of Father Francisco Lopez Rojales. They put together a makeshift altar and then celebrate the very first ever Catholic Mass in the United States right here. Folks, that cross out there is 208 feet tall. It is stainless steel. It is a freestanding cross, but it's also said to be the tallest freestanding cross in the Western Hemisphere. We're going to stop opposite the cross at our next stop on the red train here at the Mission Nombre de Dios, which stands for In the Name of God, our next stop here on the red train. Now I'm going to move up a little bit further for all you folks that want to get a photo op, so you don't have to jump up yet. Give me a second here, and I'll move up and get you that photo op as we make our way in front of the cross. Also, you might notice that the bridge has a fence blocking it. That means you cannot go over the bridge, but you can get over to the cross by following the sidewalk on the right and making our way around over to the chapel and altar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mission Nombre de Dios. It's now safe for anybody who might want to exit here or enter. All aboard. We'll move up a little bit here, slowly, so my friend can get a photo op in the back. I see he's got his camera. Got it? Now that sidewalk I was talking about is on your right. If you follow it around the Shrine Gift Shop, you can make a right. You'll make your way around the pond there. It'll take you through a fence where not only can you get to that cross, you can get over to the chapel and altar where they celebrate that very first Mass. Folks, we're talking over 450 years ago. All right, my friends, it's time for a Smokey surprise quiz. I'll ask a question. If you know the answer, scream it out. This one worth 5 points. If you can tell me, why does the cross stop? Well, first of all, if you haven't ridden my train before, if you have ridden my train before, I gotta say you don't say it. Why does the cross stop at 208 feet tall? Go! All right, I'll give you a hint. 3 letters. FAA. He's nodding his head. He must know it. Federal Aviation, or airplanes. That's right, folks. Anything over 210 feet tall has to have a red beacon on top so the planes can see it. Well, we didn't want to put a red beacon on top of the cross, so we stopped at 208. I know. You're looking for something more historic. That's all I got for you. But if you want more history, then why don't we swing by what I call the 3rd most significant historical stop on our tour. Ladies and gentlemen, we're stopping by the Howard Johnsons. That's right, it's the Hojos. I know what you're saying now, Smokey, how is this historic? Well, the Howard Johnsons might not be. But my friend that hangs out in the parking lot is said to be the oldest living resident in the state of Florida. And he's not really a he, it's that oak tree right there in front of you, which, ladies and gentlemen, has been cored and tested by the University of Florida, standing in at well over 600 years old. That's pretty amazing because most oak trees don't live to be over 300. This guy is actually double that and still going strong as we stop underneath the arms of the old senator. The old oak tree hangs out here at the Howard Johnson's, where it's now safe if you'd like to exit or remain. All aboard. Then it's time for another Smokey surprise quiz. Here we go. All right, folks, this one's worth 3 points and a bonus point, but you got to give me both names. Tell me the folks that sang "Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree." Go.
I know.
He's absolutely right. 4 points for that guy. And if anybody else said it, I trust you. I'll give you the 4 points too. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. The old senator, the live oak tree on your right. All right, if you have a camera on you, you're going to want to get it ready because I'm about to show you, no joke, guys. It's my profile. No, I'm kidding. It's on the other side of this archway. It's a street called Magnolia Avenue. It has been named by National Geographic magazine as one of the top 10 most photographic streets in the United States. Now, I personally think the best view is out to the left as we exit the parking lot. Some people like the right. Of course, you can make your own decision, folks, but make sure you snap at least one photo of this Smokey extra I found out has been on the cover of their magazine twice in my lifetime. And I'm not that old. Ladies and gentlemen, as we make our way out onto beautiful Magnolia Avenue, check out the view. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Smokey, why do they call it Magnolia Avenue? I'm not seeing any magnolia trees. If you did say that, you're absolutely right. Guys, these are live oaks. This street was lined with magnolias all the way up until the late 1800s. We had several days where it got just above 9 degrees here, remember? That damages the citrus groves in Lincolnville, but it also damages the magnolias. So what do? They plant these live oaks. How many live oaks? Well, that's another Smokey extra. But this one, I couldn't look up. This one, I had to walk up and down and count them. Guys, there are 74 live oak trees on this block, and these guys have now been here since the early 1900s, and they're still going strong today. Now keep your camera out and ready. We're about to go behind the wall to the Fountain of Youth, and if we're lucky, we'll see some of the 35 to 40 local residents that like to hang out in the parking lot. And I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about wild peacocks. That's right, folks. The Fountain of Youth is a real archaeological park that houses about 35 to 40 wild peacocks, as well as real archaeological digs from the past you can explore, climb to the top of a 15th century tower, hear live cannon fire throughout the day, and of course, drink from the Fountain of Youth. You can also buy a bottle of that water and bring it home to share with your friends. My friends, our next stop on the red train is the archaeological historical park in St Augustine, known as the Fountain of Youth. If this is going to be your destination, I'm going to ask you to exit carefully to the left side of my train as I make my way to our stop here at the Fountain of Youth. Alright, it's now safe if anybody'd like to exit here. My friends are all jumping up in the back. Have a good time out there. It was good to see you, and thank you for riding back with me again. Yes, sir. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. You're very welcome. It's good to see you guys again. Alright, let me tell my dispatcher I'm here. Give me 1 second off the microphone. I'll be right back. Here we go. Now, if we're lucky, we'll keep our eyes peeled. You never know, you might see a peacock on the grass on the right. Sometimes you'll see them up on these tree branches on your left. They do like to hang out up on the tree branches. I say they go up there to get a bird's eye view of everything down below. Boom. And sometimes I don't see any at all, but they are here. It's just a matter of where they might be hanging out. Sometimes you'll hear them in the distance. They make that sound that sounds like a wounded cat. On the left, you got 2 large dome structures. Now that one right there is a 2-story blacklit globe. This one right here is a planetarium. Both of them showing you how the young Spaniards made their way here to what was then called La Florida, or the land of flowers. Unfortunately, I don't see any peacocks right now, but you can always come on back later if you'd like. Let's talk about the wall that surrounds the Fountain of Youth. It's got a lot of shells in it. People automatically think that makes it coquina. Well, folks, coquina by definition, when I look it up, means little shells. These are much larger. For 3 points, tell me the name of that large shell, and don't just tell me seashells. Go. Starts with an O. Oyster, there you go. 3 points for you guys. That wall is made out of oyster shells, sand, water, and lime all mixed together, and they called it a poor man's coquina, but it's also known as tabia, or tabby for short. Alright, I gotta be quiet on William Street here, so enjoy the silence as I make my way down the block. Did you get it? Alright. And I'll pick it up at the other end. Look out to your right here. You see some of it there. What's the name of that green stuff called? Not just moss, but Spanish moss. Very good. That's 2 points for you. Well, guess what, folks? All day, people will tell you Spanish moss, not Spanish, also not moss. It's an air plant. It comes from the pineapple family. Well, I wanted to find out where the name Spanish moss came from. I look it up. Guess what I find out? The real name of that moss? Usiliandus tilius. And the definition of Usiliandus tilius is, get this, looks like moss. They also say it looks like Spanish beards from long ago. So when you combine the two together, you come up with the name Spanish moss. Our next stop on the right train, right in front of us, is the old jail. That was our jail here until the 1950s. Well, now it's a museum where you can go inside and experience what it was like to be a prisoner of the day. The men were kept upstairs, the females were downstairs, all inside. Our stop for the old jail, Gator Bob's Trading Post, Old Town Gifts, and the Spice and Tea Exchange are all here as we stop for the old jail. If this is your destination, folks, please exit carefully to the right, where it's now safe to exit or remain. You guys are jumping off. It was good to see you again. Where's Marco? Is he sleeping? Oh, there he is. Hey, bud. I'll make sure he wasn't out like a light back there. Bye, buddy. I'll see you later. As we head out here, all aboard. Here we go. Now, we're actually lucky that we're getting to leave the jail the way we're going, folks, because sometimes when I call my dispatcher and he's in a real bad mood, he says, Smokey, take him around to the back of the jail. Well, as you can see, we're ducking out this way, folks, and we're lucky because I don't like to go around the back of that jail. Why? It wasn't just a jail until the 1950s conversion. It was a real hanging jail. As a matter of fact, if you go around the other side, there is a gallows back there. Several hangings would take place on the grounds, including one female. Well, guys, I'm not a big fan of the gallows. Neither are my kids, but we are big fans of the beach. Who likes the beach back there? Give me a woo-woo. All right, well, guess what? Then you're in the right place at the right time, because out to our right is a sign that says Jack's Beach, Volano Beaches. Well, guess what? Volano Beach is the closest beach to downtown St Augustine, ladies and gentlemen, and it's just out to the right, about 2 miles over that bridge to get there. Well, guys, it's not only the closest beach to downtown, but my kids and I will find that that beach is the best beach in downtown if you're looking for shark teeth out of the mouth of a shark. That's right. You want to know what that looks like? Well, it looks like an uppercase Y, but squattier. It's got two prongs like this, one down the middle, typically black in color, only about the size of your thumb. Not very big, but it still might be a little bit sharp. For some reason, we find them on that beach only. We don't find them anywhere else. If you guys want to go look for them, take a walk right where the water comes up to the edge and then goes back out. For some reason, we find them there, mixed in amongst all the shells over on Volano. Now, to get there, you would go over 2 miles. Instead of making a left, make a right. When you get to the end, you'll hit a dead end. Sorry, when you get to the end, it's a dead end, make a right. Go 2 blocks, make a left, make another 2 blocks, and there's the entrance to Volano Beach, really close to downtown St. Augustine. St. Augustine Beach is way out there, this one a whole lot closer. Alright, remember, if you have a hat on, hold on to it. As this train gets moving here, that wind will pick up. As we make our way up to our most northern stop, the Sugar Mill. Folks, we got to talk about another, National Army building. Folks, we have 3 of them in town, okay? This is the second one you'll see, but that one looks unique. Look at it carefully. We had to write to the government and ask for permission to build it to look like that. Look like what? We wanted it to match the Spanish architectural field, so we wrote a letter to the government and said, hey, do you guys mind if we make it look like the Alamo? We couldn't believe it when they wrote back and said, go for it. So we did. It's probably the only National Army you'll see that looks like the Alamo. And on the right, check out these 2 Senate buildings right here. The Florida School of the Deaf and Blind. Folks, here in St. Augustine, we have a K-12 school, and if you're blind, deaf, or both, and you live anywhere in the state of Florida, you can attend that school on your right, absolutely free. Well, I decided to look it up for my Smokey extras. You know what I find out? If a student needs to attend that school, and they don't have a ride, and they live as far as Naples, Florida, the school will send a bus to pick them up. They'll bring them here, they'll drop them off on the weekend, they'll bring them home. I also found out when it first opened up, very small, 3 buildings, 5 acres of land, housing about 63 students inside. Today, much larger. We're talking 47 plus buildings on over 80 acres of land. At any one time, that campus allows anywhere between 600 to 800 students inside, of which 85% of the graduating class will go on to seek higher education or employment. Now, I know that you guys know 85%, great number. But what you might not know are my Smokey extras I'm about to share with you about a student that went through the doors. Now, you might figure out the student, hear me out with my extras, because these are pretty unique. I find out that a student moves here at the age of 7 from Albany, Georgia, just to attend the school. And while there, he falls in love with the art department. Gets real good at it. So good that he cuts class to show off his talents downtown. Everybody loves him. Except I find out that a lot of people keep calling him by the wrong name. Guys, they keep calling him Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, some of you might remember that name, Sugar Ray Robinson, an up-and-coming boxer in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. The guy I'm talking about had the same last name. You got it, folks. I'm talking about the one and only Mr. Ray Charles Robinson. You know him as Mr. Ray Charles today because he drops his last name of Robinson when he gets tired of people confusing him with a boxer. Well, guess what? He attended that school for just 8 years from the ages of 7 to 15, and he learned most of the musical instruments he knows today while attending that school. All right, we're going to stop here at our most northern stop of the journey. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called our Sugar Mill stop. If this is your final destination, my name is Smokey. Thank you for riding with me as you head out here from our Sugar Mill back into downtown. It is now safe if you'd like to exit or enter.
Yeah, you saw?
Yeah, I see. I was right over there. I heard it. Looked over and I seen him come through the parking lot.
All right, folks, we got to head out all aboard as we head out here, making our way out of the Sugar Mill stop. As I said, making our way down to our next stop, which is the Red Train headquarters. And believe it or not, my friends, that's going to be my last stop. Now, that's just for me, not for this train. If you got to go back into downtown, stay right where you are. The next guide will be out in just a minute to bring this train back into downtown. I'm going to go inside, take a little bit of a break. I just finished another hour and 30-minute tour around the city, so I'm going to go rest for a little bit. I'll come back out. I'll do one more trip around, so you never know, I may or may not see you. If I don't see you, I do want to say thank you for riding with me on the Red Train today, folks. I hope you had a good time out there. Hope you learned something from me along the way. Now remember, if you did have a good time or a bad time, head over to the website, tripadvisor.com. Punch in Red Train Tours and write a review and say something about Smokey and the Red Train. Now, if it's good, I'd love for my boss to read it. They have no idea what we're doing out here unless you guys let them know. But if it's bad, I need to know. Why? I wrote my tour, guys. I like my tour. If there's something you don't like on it, guess what? I can change things. I can change anything on my tour. Well, as long as it's not history related. Unfortunately, I cannot change history. Yet. I'm working on it. I also want to let you know that at the next stop, I need to ask you for one more favor. When you got that sticker you're wearing somewhere on your body, they also gave you a hard ticket stub. On the bottom of that ticket stub, there's a name printed on it. If you can find that ticket stub, take it out of your pocket, wherever you might have shoved it. As I dig through the train, I'll walk down the right side. I'll take a quick look at the date on the bottom. Once I see the date on the bottom, you're more than welcome to put it back in your pocket. I don't want you to lose it. I just need to take a look at it. I also want to let you know that that ticket stub now gives you free parking at our Ripley's Midnight Museum all the way until midnight tonight. And speaking of Ripley's, if you're trying to get back there, that'll be your second stop from this stop. First the Visitor Center, then Ripley's, and then continuing on in the normal journey, 24 stops around the city. I also want to let you know that if anybody needs to ride back to the hotel, they need to be back here at our next stop, the Red Train headquarters, by about 4 o'clock this afternoon to give you that free ride back. And I got one more set of Smokey extras to share with you, and I'm glad I caught the light because there's a lot of them. Look at this rounded object here with the red and white awning and the horses underneath. Some people claim you gotta call that a carousel. They say that a carousel only goes counterclockwise, only has horses on the bench, only plays one kind of music, which is what that does. They say that a merry-go-round goes the opposite direction, has any kind of animal, plays any kind of music. So what do? I look it up. Guess what I find out? There is no difference between a carousel or a merry-go-round. It's all about what you call it. But why does it turn counterclockwise? Well, I found this interesting. There used to be a game attached to it. When it goes around, you grab a brass ring out of an animal's mouth, you toss it to another animal's mouth. Most people, right-handed. Turn it counterclockwise, they get to grab and throw with their right hand. Turn it clockwise, they're trying to do it with their left hand, not as much fun for them. And why do they call it a carousel? This is even more interesting. Because carousel comes from a word called Giro-sello, which means little war. Folks, do you know that that attraction right there was created to teach young riders how to ride in a battle up and down hills without tiring out the horses? The riders got off, the wives and children got on, they fall in love with it, hence the birth and now the attraction known as a carousel or merry-go-round. Now they started using the word carousel because nobody wrote it when they called it a roundabout. When they called it a roundabout, nobody wrote it, so they switched it to carousel. Sounds a little bit more fancy. People started to ride it. Well, this one right here was found in an old barn by a Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus employee. Fixes it up for about $25,000. Travels it around from city to city. Finally lands here in Davenport Park, where you can ride it today and every day for just $1. And check out this Smokey extra. Some of the tails on the horses are made out of real horsehair. Take a look out to your right as we make our way past the carousel / merry-go-round. Guys, that's my last one for right now. Again, my name is Smokey. I hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something from me along the way. And we thank you for choosing the Red Train Tours. We know you had your options, and we appreciate you coming along with us for the ride. Your next guide will be out in just a second to bring you back into downtown. Remember, if you need a ride to your hotel, jump up here and we'll get you that ride back. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. It was nice meeting you. My name is Smokey. Peace. I'm out. Thank you. I appreciate that back there.